Alright, so first game for us today is Rage Crew versus Hope, and two teams that I think we are going to be expecting a lot of.
Absolutely. These two, in my opinion, these two are two of the favourites. Although Rage didn't actually seed, I think they were quite unlucky last time and they could well have been a seed. And so this is kind of an interesting match because effectively what you've got is two seed level teams playing off in the group stage. So this is going to be potentially extremely exciting to watch because you're going to get some final kind of level play, but right at the beginning, which is awesome to watch. So I'm quite excited for this first match.
Absolutely. It's also worth remembering that because this is now a best of three, we are going to be seeing these teams on three different maps. We will be starting off on Sea of Fortune, going on to North, and then finishing up, if it needs a decider, on Shards. All three maps we saw last week.
Absolutely. So I think obviously we may not to get to see shards because the way this works is it's first to two effectively. So we may only get to see Sea of Fortune and North, which as you pointed out to me just now, are actually very similar maps. In terms of the
Yes.
island layout and whatnot, whereas the new shards is going to be interesting because if we get to actually play that, then the teams haven't had much practice on this because it's effectively a new map.
Well, that some of it will be familiar to old Shards players, but in particular, Point B has been completely remodeled. It's now much more symmetrical, and there's much more cover around it as well. The island in the center is smaller, but you've actually got protection on the approaches to Point B now. So certainly on the few times I've had that come up in randoms, it's been quite common to see light cruisers tucked in behind those central islands and just shooting away. The American light cruisers in particular have liked it there.
Absolutely. And whenever I've spawned into this map over the last couple of weeks since it's been live, initially you have this feeling of, what do I do? Because if I'm on the center cap is totally different. The edge, A and C are roughly the same, but the ranges are different, and it kind of plays with your head a little bit because you're used to it being a smaller map, and so you have to kind of adjust the scale of it in your head, which is kind of interesting.
Yes, and it's worth noting that the reason we were discussing this was because when I looked at the stream setup when we were doing our tech checks, I initially freaked out and thought the wrong maps had loaded. Anyhow, the test room is coming up, so we should be good to just go in
Yeah,
there, join the teams, and start setting up the game.
they're just saying that the room creator has just had to pop off for a minute, so
Okay,
they'll be back
that's
shortly.
fine by us. Just means that the game gets delayed a little. So, as before, technical limitations mean that I will be commentating from one side of the game. Specifically, I will be commentating from, I
You've got
believe,
Rage, I think.
I have got Rage Team,
Yeah,
and you'll be commentating from the Hope side.
indeed. So Hope is actually an amalgamation of Omni, OM, and Rain. Ex players of those clans. They tend to move around quite a lot between those three clans. But
Yes.
yeah, there's a mixture of players from those clans. So although I'm just looking at the clan tags and I can't see anyone from Ray. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, Rain. I can't see anyone from Rain specifically. So it's a mixture of Hope, Omni, and OM.
Indeed, and it's worth noting that their carrier driver is the infamous Farazeleth.
It is indeed, although of course his tool of choice has changed quite a lot since we might have last seen him competing. And I know
And
he's been practicing a lot, so we shall see.
well, yes. So I suspect we may start seeing what a carrier can really do in the hands of an expert.
Well, I mean, expert is kind of interesting, isn't it? Because uh, everyone had their RTS carriers taken off them, and the competitive carrier players have had this new tool given to them, which no one is an expert in to start off with. And so, they've all had to work, I'm sure, extremely hard to get the skill level back that they had on the RTS carriers. So, and I know that I've been watching Farah's streams, and he was concerned. He did voice concern about the fact that he might not be able to get that level of skill back in the time required. So, but I'm sure he will obviously be applying all his game mechanics knowledge to it. So, he's not a beginner by any means, that's for sure.
Yes, and I have just had the horrible realization that your audio might not be playing in this scene at my end, which is a bit of a kicker.
Well, that's
Um,
annoying. At least my half can hear it.
Yay! Yes, so if you don't mind flicking between two Twitch channels, then there is the multi-Twitch link while I quickly go and bash my head against the wall. However, the game is getting ready to go. We'll be starting on Sea of Fortune, and I will be frantically trying to adjust this in a second. Please, please, please don't say it's wrecked the rest of my audio setup. That would be really, really bad. Oh well. We're about to find out. Right.
Shall I
Teams are
say?
signaling ready.
Yep. Shall I say we're ready?
Streamers. Yeah, absolutely. Streamers ready.
Cool.
And let's see where this action takes us.
Game has started.
Hooray.
Okay, so it'll be usual ritual ramming here.
Indeed.
So,
and we also have Midway
ooh,
on Midway.
ooh,
Interesting split on the battleships. Two
ooh.
Republics versus two Yamatos.
I like it. That's interesting. Okay. Gearing Grozovoy. Okay, that's a fairly even matchup, I think. Stalin, Henri's. Okay, so it's the main difference, interestingly, is the battleships.
A lot of Henri's, though. That seems to have turned into the cruise of choice for this tournament.
It does. It does indeed. And I've heard, I've heard strangers talking on his stream about. Actually, I was on the World of Warships podcast about how this team is going to use Henri's going forwards, and it's worth going back and finding that episode actually if you like the World of Warships podcast, because he describes in quite a lot of detail about some of their tactics, which is very, very interesting. Right, let's
Hopefully
get
he didn't spoil anything, but let's see where this goes. So,
no.
Unleash the headbutts.
Boink.
Indeed.
Okay.
Right, let's go see what the teams are up to then. So, starting with Rage, and we've got what looks like either a BC split or a C push and a B denial. They're virtually ignoring A.
So, Omni / Hope / whatever, Hope, they've done exactly what Stranger said they would do on his time with the podcast, and they are blobbing. So this is what he said they would do. So they are going alpha side very heavy.
We kind of called this when we were talking about the carriers last week, that blobbing up was a necessity, and you can see its advantages. Farzelis brought his rocket planes in to snipe and scout earlier, and he's already lost 3.
Absolutely.
Just from tripping over the flak for a brief second. Although he's swinging around, he's getting pretty solid reconnaissance data for the whole team, even if he had to trade a few planes. But it's fine. The mechanics can knock a few out of spare parts, and he's spotting for some early shots there. Stranger's taking some pot shots. Oh, Ghost Stalker there takes an early 15,000 hit, but
he made
looks like he's setting up to deny A.
He actually made Teacup Yuri and the Minotaur actually have to dodge north for a little bit, so he's put a bit of delay into Teacup getting down to Charlie.
And
Republic just taken.
Now going for the attack approaches. I think he must be assuming that his initial reconnaissance is done. He can pull his planes back and come back with a heavy mob later on.
Yeah, I think that was a suicide spotting run.
Yeah,
just to see where
that's the thing about rockets. I would be interested to know whether he's gone for the 5-inch HVARs or the tiny Tims, because that's one of the.
Yeah, I wasn't watching closely enough to see, but it'd be interesting to see.
He did leave a fighter squadron. Well, he had left a fighter squadron behind, but they're dead now. So they're in the air spotting to begin with. And now here come the dive bombers.
Ghost Stalker making a bit of a dangerous turn there in your Republic, but he's got away with it.
Yep, I wonder if he was initially positioned to try to deny, but he had a look at the spots and realised actually all he was going to be was a speed bump at that point. So
now I think Farah has been sent down to find the gearing. Midway coming in to drop some fighters to stop him. But I think he's probably going to go for the spot anyway.
Yeah, at this point he really has to, because B is 2/3 capped. If he can't get a lock on, they're going to lose that cap. But Rage has smoked. He's seen the danger. I don't think. Oh, maybe he did get close enough to get some spotting data.
He did, and also I noticed that the Des Moines is parked right next to the gearing to give him a bit of AA support.
Yes, and again, this comes back to what we were saying. The best defense against AA, well, air, in this meta at the moment is just to bunch up. And
Absolutely.
Strangers kind of mentioned that when he said his team were going to be blobbing for at least the first half of the game. And in fact, it's actually forced Gearing out of. Oh, Rage has left because he's finished the cap. So Rage are now one control point up, and
So where's the gearing heading?
Hope he is breaking southeast. He's not really
Okay.
hanging about at the moment, and you can kind of understand why. That's going to get very, very hot water in a second. And now it's Ultrashot's turn over in C, just tiptoeing in, having a look for the cap, while Griever appears to be deliberately playing Bullet Soak, just distracting the Henri's attention.
I wonder if
Hope seemed to Hope
God,
seemed to have gone passive here.
they do a little bit, and I wonder whether they're working their way across the top slightly. You see the Yamato of Darth Enning going across. I wonder if he's been sent over to dislodge that Des Moines from the B cap.
Maybe, maybe. I mean, they're capping A, and they've got an Henri running what looks like a wide flank down the turn. But Rage just found the Grozhevoy. So can we get a reset here? Nope, not in time. Loses most of his planes. I don't think he even landed a rocket hit. And if he did, it bounced. Gnevny there breaking away completely unscathed and securing A. They are, however, a little bit behind. They're about 60 points behind on control at the most. So it's Hope's emphasis now to make up that
But
difference.
as we know, Hope and
Hop.
Omni NOM, their strategy in the past as separate teams has been to wait until the late game to push. So I wonder whether we'll see that hang back and then push strategy.
Yeah, and the thing with the hang back and push strategy, of course, it's a question of timing. You need to make sure that you can make it stick, but if you need to do the damage in the first half of the game to make it possible, and then you need to move in hard in the second half of the game. Otherwise, the other team's just going to have built up too much of a lead, and even with the kills, you're not going to pull it back. But both teams content at the moment, it seems, just to sit back and let the other make the move, and that's going to really play for Rage's advantage at the moment. That said, we
Worcester,
have some
Worcester is
splashes
spotted.
going
Des Moines is spotted.
close. Hmm. And although it's a little late, Ultrashot is spotted, but he's got the cap, so that scoreboard is
The
still
ooh,
ticking.
the order to focus down Decliner has kicked in. He's being focused into oblivion here at the moment. Whether he can get away with it, we'll see. Um,
Hmm.
even the midway's going in to have a go.
Yeah, he's managed to break contact, but as you say, with the pounding he was taking, the fact that these guys all know how to fire blind, and he's burning, and unless he can control that, that's going to leave him on perilously low
He
health.
he popped a heal briefly. That's now finished. He's obviously running a perma. Oh, that would have. I think that shot there just did him in. I think that may have been the nail in the coffin. He's also going to take a little bit of ram damage from Dastard.
Dastard's veering off. Of course, we can't see this. We can see Dastard, but we can't see Decliner. And we're just waiting to see from Rage's point of view if they can make it stick. Of course, while the attention's on the north, the Grozavoy and the Henri around by Point A are still tiptoeing around the corner, I believe.
Yeah, so Grozavoy's just coming into the top of B cap. He's just pushed some torpedoes down through B cap. I don't think there's anything there for him to actually talk because I think the Des Moines is still sitting in gearing smoke down. Yeah, he is. So
Yeah, he is,
he's just
although
been
it's now
spotted as
half
well.
of Des Moines.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
So I think Grozavoy is gonna do a 3-point turn and reverse back into the B cap. We've also got, I don't know if you can see him, but we've also got the Stalingrad of Strangers pushing down into A. I think
Interestingly, no, Rage has
yeah.
not seen that yet. They can see Banambiga pushing in, and they've picked up the Grozavoy as well. But they have got strangers now.
So Hope operate what they call the pizza model of control, where they try and if you divide the map into 8 pizza slices, they try and make sure they have 2 sets of 2 slices controlled. And you can see they're doing that with just a straight half. So from bottom corner to top corner, they're trying to control half of the map. And that is why you can see the Stalingrad and the Henri pushing to where they are now.
Yes, and more to the point, from this point, they can try to push flanking fire into Rage. Rage effectively dominate the southeast corner of the map, but if they can get turned, in particular if Banambiga can push in and start putting the pressure on, they'll be able to just catch Rage in the crossfire, and Hope can just whittle them down.
Strangers
But
just Strangers just radared, so planetary assault systems is now spotted.
yes, and there's the beginning of the cap by Storzoy. We have a counter radar from, I think it was Ultra Shot. So the Grozovoi of Storozhevoi Gnevny is spotted, but Planetary Assault doesn't have the
No,
arc to get rounds on him at the moment.
the
And he's got bigger problems right now, although he is pretty angled. However, that has forced him off his defensive position. So a lot of the radar coverage of B has just disappeared.
I wonder well
And
they'll put
again,
he,
Rage are being slowly forced back into this southeastern corner.
absolutely. I think that was Hope's plan all along, was to kind of spread out and control half the map, and then shepherd the other team down underneath the sea caps. So they seem to be doing what they wanted to achieve.
They can make it work, certainly, but in the process, decline there on perilously low health as well. But the problem that they've got is that they're spreading themselves thin, and a concentrated punch from Rage at any one point on the line would let them execute a defeat in detail. But I don't think they're willing to try that at the moment.
Farah's just picking on the lone Henri here, down in the eye line. I wasn't expecting to see many drops, but actually, if you've got a lone ship, then you may as well, I suppose.
Absolutely. The Honorary, of course, has got plenty of flak, but we've said it plenty of times before. If you're on your own and a tier 10 carrier wants you dead, you are going to end up pretty badly beaten.
Absolutely. You've got Republic, looks like pushing in to C.
Yes.
Not sure. He's not got anyone coming with him, so that's kind of an interesting move if he is actually going to push.
Well, he's kind of midfield in effect. I mean, he's got Planetary Assault backing him up with radar and Ultra Assault's swinging round. But Hope, again, it's Hope that need to take the initiative here. They're fractionally ahead on health, but they are still badly behind on points, even if it is now effectively one cap each, with Storozhevoi coming in behind and taking B.
But this is the classic OM Omni Hope kind of playstyle where they quite happy to have a 200-point deficit as long as they've got map control, because then they can claw it back with kills.
They can make it back. Thing is, Storozhevoi is mostly defilated from that long range fire from the Worcester and the. Actually, I'd tell you, he's not defilated at all from the Worcester. Ultra Shot, they're getting a couple of solid broadsides in, resetting the cap, and effectively, there you go. Storozhevoi's been forced back out right as the radar expires and he breaks contact. But that puts Rage back on a 2 control point advantage. And again, they Hope are going to have to find some way to get that second point and start making this tell. They are doing more damage, though. They're currently 30,000 up, but nobody's died.
That's pretty close, though, in terms of health.
Yeah, this tier in particular, it's spitting distance. And the key fact is that no one's been able to translate any of that into a kill yet.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of great tactical fighter drops going on here. I think the Grozovoi just had a double fighter over him. And the carriers are having a real dueling battle.
Yeah, the airspace over that Grozovoi has just become the hottest territory in town. Mind you, things are getting pretty hot down on the deck of that Grozovoi as well. Ultra Shot exploiting the muzzle velocity of the Worcesters, forcing him down into cover. B is still locked, and he is slowly capping, and I don't think that Storozhevoi is in any significant danger, but the Republic and the Gearing are coming around the corner as well. They're going to turn the flank over, and again, he's forced out of the cap circle.
Midway breaks his engine.
He must be absolutely cursing right about now.
Yeah, and he's got a broken engine, so he's not going anywhere fast. He's just damage cont. Still taking shots from over the back.
Yes, however, what's going to change the equation a little for Ultrashot is that Strangers is pushing in to the point, and in a second I think he might have broadside. Okay, he's not quite got broadside on Ultrashot, but Ultrashot again, the relatively low muzzle velocity of that Worcester main battery, allowing him to at least have a look at Strangers' flank.
Now they are going to want to Hope are going to want to get spotting on the Des Moines, because he was in a very vulnerable position until he took those 2 torpedoes, and now he is dead.
And that's the first death. Now the question is Griever going to follow? Because that will knock out a significant chunk of Rage's fire. And yes, I think he is. He's got a permafire. Yep. There we go. Second kill to Hope, they are now back to within 60 points, and critically, they now have a slight firepower
And
advantage.
and now I think you'll see they'll start to close that bear trap down by bringing Darth Enning and Dastard down from the north to start pushing down towards C.
And more to the point, I suspect we might see something more aggressive from Banambiga as well. He's been content just to swap rounds with Danny down on the eye line, just stalemating that flank. But you're right, we're going to see the Vice start to clamp, and those 2 kills gave them what they needed to not be timed out on the scores. So at this point, Strangers, I think, has got to play it cautiously. There goes Ultra Shot. Decline takes him down. And yeah, they're just slowly closing down the angles and forcing Rage out of their covered positions. And once they've done that, Rage are going to be stuck in open water to the south with nowhere to go.
And they're already getting on for 60, 70 points down, and they've now lost control of the middle cap, so they're 1 cap down as well.
And that 30k health deficit, well, now it's a 100k health deficit.
And this is where you
So
see that
Von
late
Brand
game
going
strategy.
For the drop pop, although I think he lost all his planes for little or no effect. Strangers, however, might still be in trouble. He had what looked like a permafire to me and not much health to work with.
Yeah, he's backed up. Unfortunately, he's got his aft end fouled, so he can't actually reverse back around the corner. He's put out the fire, but he is I think he's unspotted at the moment.
He is at the moment, but
yeah, he's just going to
get a little tricky for him to try to go anywhere because the Stalingrad's not the most manoeuvrable ship.
No, and I think the Midway's been sent to spot him. He's just trying to tuck in as much as he can, which in a Stalingrad is not easy.
Yeah. That said, there aren't many people left with actual line of fire to him.
No, that's very true.
The 1522 can try it, but he's going to have to go right in front of Teacup Fury in order to do it. And I think he's going to try it. Did he see Teacup's marker? Because he's going to go right in front of an angry Minotaur. And we know what happens to small boats that get in front of angry Minotaurs. And it's not very pleasant.
Completely.
There we go. Teacup's first salvo goes south, and he's found his range. Backing up, of course, he knows the gearing's dumped torpedoes, but that's 7,000 health gone, busted engine.
The
1522, I think, regretting everything at the moment.
Absolutely. He's also got torpedoes coming towards him, but I don't think they're on track to hit. Your torps have just been spotted. There is no hope, says Griever.
Those were never going to hit. Teacup had backed up behind the Spithead well before that was a problem, and yeah, 1522 there, caught short, nowhere to go.
Torps are heading.
Now the
torps are heading straight towards him
anyway, and they might do the job. Nope, scraped by, but it really doesn't matter because that, I believe, is 1-0 to Hope.
That was a classic Hope match, if you ask me. Giving up the early game map control to spread out and get those angles, make sure they get the position for the push, get a kill, and then close the Vice. That's just classic Hope, classic Omni, classic OM.
Absolutely, and I think every single team that faces them thinks that, yeah, they're going passive, we've got this, and you've absolutely got to go full aggression on these guys right from the start. Something that we've noticed in past Kings of the Sea with Omni and OM is that if you really hammer into them, then they do have a hard time coming back from that.
I've just realised on my stream that my clan icons aren't working after I changed the clans file, so you've just got the default Wargaming logo, so sorry about that, but you can see the names, so that's not so important.
Indeed, and I have managed to fix my audio, so yay.
Yay!
Right, so as our next map, we are looking at North, and it's a very similar layout.
Absolutely. So I think you're going to see the same kind of tactic, particularly from Hope, where they try and just hang back, see what's happening and try and spread out, control half of the map, and then shepherd Rage into exactly where they want them.
Yeah, and the question is whether Rage are going to see that and just go full-on attack, power in, don't worry too much about the damage, because it does rely on Hope's opponents being that little bit conservative themselves.
Yeah, I think maybe there's two ways to counter that that Hope tactic, and that is to spread out yourself, in which case you're trying to apply their classic tactic to them, and of course they are the experts in doing that.
Yeah, don't try to fight the experts at their own game is solid advice.
Or you go heavy and attack one of their flanks and try and stop them from doing that. But then again, they're going to spread out on the other side and get the crossfire. And I've seen them do it before, where if that happens, they rotate their pizza slices around the map and just kind of kite that side that's being attacked away, and then push in with the other side. And they are very, very
Yeah,
good at it.
yeah, because that, as I said, back in the days when we did see Omni and OM taking losses, it was always that hyper aggressive style that seemed to give them pause, and they will have been working on adapting to that style.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think if Rage is going to choose one of those two things, I think they should choose the try and destroy one side tactic. But I'm not Rage, so we'll see what they do. But obviously,
Indeed.
yeah. But they need to not get shepherded, I think, is the thing. You can't let hope control you. You have to try and control them, which is a very difficult thing to do.
Yes, it's a concept we don't use very much in World of Warships. That of initiative. Who's leading the dance? Who's dictating the flow of where the ships are going? Who's shooting at who?
Exactly.
So
Are
teams
we
are readying up.
while they're reading up? Are we going to do some giveaways at some point?
We are indeed. So Wargaming have very generously sent over a total of 20 codes for us to give away over the course of this afternoon. And each of these codes is good for 2 of the standard air supply containers. We're also throwing in a few extra goodies ourselves, but we'll get to those later on in the afternoon. So, we were going to do these in between matches, but let's start running a giveaway now. So, are you in multi-Twitch, ladies and gentlemen? Because you're going to need to drop keywords into both of our chat channels in order to register for both giveaways. Stats has got half of these codes, I've got the other half.
Like
So,
some
for
like
those of
some kind
you
of puzzle.
in Indeed, it is a test of worthiness. Actually, it's just because we can't get our bots to look at each other's channels, but there you go. Um, so, if you are in my chat, enter exclamation mark King of the Sea, and you will start entering the draw. I'll give away 1 code after this game, possibly 2 if we don't go to a third round.
And in my channel, so for the same pack of 2 standard air containers that you'll see in Yuzur's channel, we're going to be entering, I forgot what I set the code is now, exclamation mark air containers will be the code when it comes online. But obviously there's a 5-minute delay, so if I press this now, you'll see it and then hear me say this in 5 minutes time, so there's no point in me really saying this, but yeah, that's fine. you'll get the instructions.
Yes, absolutely. And it will nicely line up with the end of the match. So, okay. Right, so streamers ready. Teams should be ready. And once everyone is happy, content, and good to go, we are setting up for round 2. Rage playing to even the scores, hope to seal the win.
Absolutely. A little bit of it.
Hmm.
So I'm just laughing at the battle chat.
Yes, Amex shots there, dropping the old joke in the
At this stage, the
chat.
teams tend to start to joke around a little bit.
Hmm. Especially when it's about their 8th King of the Sea.
Oh yeah, these
Some of
guys.
the
Yeah,
some of
absolutely.
these things are very well worn.
You think about some of the teacup Yuri and strangers and some of the guys on the Rage side as well. I know they're not quite as experienced, but some of them have been around for quite a while as well, and they've done quite a few of these now,
Indeed.
as well as thousands and thousands of clan battles, no doubt.
Hmm.
Right, match has
So
started.
let's see if they make any changes to the lineup. I don't think they will. And nope, I see no changes to the
Nope,
lineup
exactly the same.
whatsoever. So just tap that out. So again, we're seeing double Yamato versus double Republique. Rage, I think, foregoing the overmatch for better cruiser blamming capacity.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of an interesting choice. To go with 2 republics is kind of interesting. I can understand why you'd have one to maybe like get over to a flank quickly and control the flank, but two is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, And of course, you've also got the idea, presumably that Hope are using, of using their Yamatos basically to dislodge static bound battleships. So they want the 46 centimeter rifle in order
Absolutely.
to do that.
Yeah, and you'll notice, they do they use their Yamatos kind of interestingly, actually. Hope they don't always do the just park and shoot, because you saw one of them like kiting away last time. So
Mhm.
they tend to kite away, draw a bit of fire, and then when the time comes, they turn around and push.
Yes, one thing that Hope are di- displaying with their battleship is the ability to make it look like they're making a mistake. And
Absolutely.
there we go, Farazad's coming in. He's deliberately
So
dropped one of his squadrons, and he's
so
going for that early reconnaissance pass.
Hope this time have gone for the full on Control Alt select enemy base and go blob. They are going all to A.
Yeah. And meanwhile, we're actually seeing a what looks like a pushed wave from Rage, but one of the planetary assault there getting caught perhaps rather short in the middle of a turn. Although he is starting to turn back now, and we're starting to see high explosive rain down from the Henris. And yet, somebody really wants planetary assault dead again. That's two fires and probably a forced damcon once he turns out. He's already lost 8,000 health. He can't really afford to trade much more, can he? There's the
Uh,
Damcon. Yeah, he's not
Interestingly,
going for the early loss.
Montagna has dropped preemptive fighters in front of Grozhevoy so that he's going to struggle to move into that area for a minute or so.
Hmm.
He,
Yeah,
I
but
think he's
that
decided to
actually
go
relies
anyway.
very much on intimidation value because the Grozovoi can move in and risk getting spotted, but in order for that to work, some of Rage's ships have actually got to have line of fire on that point, and right now the island's blocking most of them. So while he has turned north, he could arguably have risked it and gone in south and hugged the coastline.
Yeah, he's just decided to skirt the edge of the area and just delay going in for a little bit. I think he is
Playing
now.
it safe there, I think.
Now he's got the Henri with him. I think he is turning in. The fighter's dead now, so he can safely move in.
Yeah, so they're back into stealth now. Um, and in some respects, we shouldn't be surprised that that's what he did because Hope's strategy is all about the mid to late game. And taking an early aggressive approach can work,
Well,
but if you're trading health for it,
we're seeing something slightly different this match, because normally they would have sent a couple of ships over towards Charlie to control that half of the map, but we're just not seeing that. So um, they're trying something new here, I think. And I
yeah.
know they've
And
been
it's
doing this a lot in clan battles. So Strangers was saying that they use this tactic in clan battles, but I've not seen it in competitive before.
and it's actually almost Napoleonic at the moment. We've got both teams lined up and just trading broadsides at the moment. So complete slugfest. No one really interested in the cap points, although the Henri of One-Eyed Bootleg is actually making a push into C, and he's got Ghost Stalker and Anchors away, just loitering at the back to provide a bit of fire support if he needs it. But
So
there's virtually nobody there to oppose him.
Strangers has been sent down to deal with it, but I think he'll struggle if there's going to be three ships there.
He might be about to get a slightly nasty surprise. And interestingly, the last we saw in terms of Hope opposition over there from Rage's point of view was actually, well, Strangers' as Minotaur. And they have swapped these things around. It's now Teacup Yuri in the Stalingrad and Strangers in the Minnow.
So
So
where
change
was
of assignment there.
yeah, absolutely. Where was Strangers last spotted?
Well, the last contact marker Rage have got for him is in Charlie 6 heading east-northeast.
Okay, so that's not far away from where he is now.
Yeah, so Bootleg has managed to get in. He's managed to get that early advantage. And now Ghost Stalker's pushing west. Anchor's Way is moving up north, presumably to start trying to turn the corner and almost trying to box Hope in. Because Hope are now in the northwest corner. And if Rage can, again, start closing the trap on them, then Hope might be about to get beaten at their own game. As much as we said that wasn't necessarily a likely thing to happen.
I've just noticed that Griever has had to run away there because he's down on something like 7,000 health. He's also got shots
Yes,
in.
he's been
He's
actually he's
down.
dead.
He's down.
And yet Yamato's guns care not for angling or depths. They just plowed straight through it. What was that?
He's
20
going to be
kilometers?
yeah, absolutely, and he's going to be annoyed there because he was unspotted when he got shot. So yeah, he's going to be currently hitting his keyboard, I think.
Yes, and more to the point, that Republic was their heavy firepower at point A. Until Ghost Stalker can get back across and into engagement. Okay, it's a Republic, he can do it. But that now leaves a window of a few minutes in which Rage really have got no heavy guns whatsoever. Oh, and they've got a Worcester sat broadside whose smoke is now expiring.
Yeah, there's also
Ultra
torpedoes heading
Shot
towards
there
that
is
smoke.
going to discover what his W key is for, I think.
Yep, he's Wing now as we speak. There's an awful lot of shells coming in.
Yep, and
His
there go
maybe
the exploding baguettes. He's damn con. He's trying to angle, but he's only got a 25 millimeter stern. That's a light cruiser, not a US heavy. So, yeah, the Yamato is not really going to care. And oh, now he's on fire again, and we
gearing
have
also
more
spotted.
incendiary baguettes coming down. I think this is the other reason why the Henri is proving so popular. That thing, well, there's a reason it's nicknamed the Hellfire in some circles.
So I think that's going to be ultra shot. Yep, that is ultra shot down.
Yep, that is ultra shot down and
And
out.
Farah coming in to find the gearing. There he is.
And
He's spotted.
well, he's going to run straight into Rage Montaña's fighters in the
Yep,
process, but it
Farah
almost
down.
doesn't matter because Hope here just putting down an expert level of coordination and fire control, and 1522 is currently really, really popular
Yeah, he should go
and
unspotted,
has a
eh?
busted engine.
Oh dear. So he's got Grozhevoy closing in on him. Even though he's going to go unspotted, I think he's going to struggle to... Well, maybe not struggle to get away, but he's going to have to make a run for it.
Yeah, and of course, he's still going to have random shells whizzing around his head for the next 15 seconds or so. And of course, in the aftermath of all of that, Gnevny has managed to get himself into point A, so that's starting to turn the cap round. However, round on the flank, Anchors Away and Wootleg are trying to get up into a firing position and close the trap basically before they run out of teammates. But
And Hope have just
I
been...
don't think they're going to make that count in time.
Yeah, Hope have just been pinging the Stalingrad just to say, I assume just to say, you know, don't forget about these guys over here.
Yeah, and
watch your broadsides.
Farzelis coming in, and of course, Midway's high-X dive bombers are
dead.
lethal in even semi-competent hands. In the hands of an expert like Farah, I think we're about to have toasted. But
yeah, no,
there we
he's
go.
having...
There's a couple of solid hits, and that's at least one fire. Is he going to control that? I wonder.
I've got some kind of weird location desync. I'm seeing Farah drop over the middle of the ocean, one map square away. But he's actually dropping on Stalingrad,
that
which
is
is kind of
weird.
interesting. Yeah.
Anyhow, he's coming in for the second drop, and Anchor's held his damn con until he saw the end result of this. That's another set of direct hits. And is Farah going to go for the third salvo? No, he isn't. So Anchors should pop his damn con.
I would imagine he'll come back
soon.
maybe with some torps?
Probably. Or just more bombers. Midway's high-X bombers are rapidly turning into the stuff of legend, I would say.
Yamato just avoiding some torpedoes there. Is the Henri gonna... Yep, he's okay. He's fine.
And Ghost Stalker's pushed up into B, but he's soaking a lot of concentrated firepower there. He's really just bullet soaking for Rage at the moment. It's going to be Rage who does most of the capping.
So interestingly, I think we're seeing the opposite of what we saw in the last map, where Rage actually have the map control, but of course they don't have the ship numbers. And so the one thing that you need if you're going to control a wide swath of the map is you need superior ship numbers.
Well, it's partially that, and yeah, there we go. 1522's dropping smoke in effort to buy Ghost Stalker some time. So, mind you, Ghost Stalker just fired.
He just fired, yeah.
So
that's kind of an interesting choice.
That to me would normally speak of a fracturing command and control.
Yeah, absolutely. And considering that wasn't a particularly good shot to take because the Henri was manoeuvring, I think he just killed himself.
Yeah, and there we go. There is the rocket kill from Farazeleth. Yeah, Rage, how to throw the game. Yeah, I don't think he actually means that, but he's not wrong that it feels like Rage's CNC has gone to pieces a little here. And they tried, give them credit, they tried valiantly, but I think Hope are going to call this one.
I think so, and I think it's not long before... Well, Stalingrad is just tucked in, but I mean, it's just a matter of time, isn't it? Because those two Henris are going to start pushing over now, and as soon as he gets respotted, which he will, he'll just get burnt into the ground.
Yeah, anchors away his perma-fired. He's not hard aground, but his bow's pointing the wrong way, and he's got two Henris looking at him and throwing the incendiary baguettes because that's what Henri excels at. Oh my word, that's a fairly intimidating amount of explosive coming his way.
Oof.
So I don't think he's going to last much longer under that kind of barrage. 11,000, 10,000, 7.5. No, he's tried to pull off, but he's turned too late, reversed the throttle too early,
And
and
the,
he's got nothing left.
meanwhile, the rest of Hope are just kind of taking it easy. They're just
Yeah,
controlling that corner of the map, not really doing anything, waiting for Rage to push in, which they
yeah.
have to.
Sit back, have a few drinks, try and get face first with Yamato and Henri.
And this is
Two
really,
Yamatos, actually.
I think really that Hope are really showing here how not to throw a match, because if you've got the advantage and you push, you are putting yourself at considerable risk. Whereas if you just sit back and just let the
Indeed.
enemy team come to you, you've got all the time in the world.
Absolutely. And more to the point, and this is a historical thing as well, because it was brilliantly illustrated by the Japanese at Tsushima, is if you make the enemy come to you, you stagger them out. You break them up because of the differing ship speeds, you force them to break out of cover, and basically it's much easier to defend than attack.
Banan Biga's just gone down. Yonri at the north.
Yep. Well, some pride was salvaged there. One-eyed Bootleg winning his duel, although he has only got 1/3 of an honorary left to celebrate, and well, Dastard is pretty much intact. Oh, and Bootleg is on fire again.
Planetary assault systems in the Des Moines now coming under focus.
Yep. Running as best he can, but with an honorary and a Yamato having direct fire, and Darth heading about to round the corner to the north. Yeah, I hope he's got insurance on that thing.
I think it's going to be a write-off, to be honest.
That said, they are only 8 points, well, 6 points behind, 4 points behind. They are 2 control points to 1 up. It's just that they haven't got much of a fleet left.
Yeah, you're starting to see Hope now just sort of start to push forward and try and get that center control.
Here comes the kill shot from Darth Henning.
Bit of smoke from the destroyer, but
Des Moines.
not enough. And he's going to be down.
He's not. He's
Not
not
quite.
dead
There
yet.
we go.
Oh, never
There
mind.
he
He's
is.
dead now.
I swear I had smoke, but hey, okay. Is Stranger's accidentally taken a? Surely not.
Has
Surely,
he taken the radar?
has he
maybe?
accidentally taken radar, or does he mean that he thought he had a smoke ready and he didn't?
Maybe. We can always ask him later.
We'll ask him
At this
afterwards.
point, it hardly matters. He's closing in, trying to pick off the game. If he has taken radar, of course, 1522 is about to have a very rough time of it because
Absolutely.
he's in radar range. Oh, and he also only has about a 1/10 of a gearing left. So
Engine's broken.
Strangers there is going to finish that pretty easily.
Is the engine broken? Yeah, engine broken. He's dead.
Everything else is broken as well.
Everybody's dead, Dave. Right, so
Yeah.
one-eyed Woot at the back is not looking too happy. Midway just trying to tuck in and just save some kind of dignity. And I think
unfortunately, that leaves Danny Boy out on his own and completely out of friends.
he's going to try and wiggle a bit, I think, and just get a few shots in.
I think the operative word there is try.
Try, absolutely, yeah.
But he's got 2 Yamatos looking at him, and as we have discussed so many times, Yamato does not care about your armor angling.
And these guys don't miss.
Well,
Often.
random number notwithstanding.
Yeah, this is not randoms. If you've got a Yamato looking at you, unless you are dodging like a boss, they're going to hit you.
Yes, and unfortunately his dodge efforts are about to hit a slight practical problem, known as the map border.
And these guys, of course, know full well how to shoot something which is on the map border, so that's not going to help him.
No, I think at this point he's just accepted his fate,
Okay.
and yep, there he goes. So it's down to one-eyed Bootleg, who is probably rapidly manning what's left of the lifeboats, or frantically trying to round up some duct tape, one or the other. And of course Montagna at the back, and now it's just Montagna because that's a fire. 287 pop.
Farah's going to try and keep him spotted here, but he's going to struggle a little bit because the Midway's AA, of course, is pretty formidable. So he needs to try and skirt that distance between spotting and being shot at.
And of course, the Midway has also popped its auto fighters, and never mind, that's half a Midway chunked. Teacup Yuri there getting some action. He's not had much this game, so
Good for him.
chance for him to run up some numbers.
Yeah, I don't. When the next shots come in, yep, that's him.
Ooh, yeah, that's it. Right, so fairly solid win there, and Hope taking the first match pretty thoroughly.
That's the second match, so that's 2-0. That is the game. Or the match, or the
Indeed,
whatever you want
so
to call
that is a game for Hope. I'm not sure if they're going to play the third round just for pride or practice.
Oh, they may do, actually. Yeah, we'll see.
Yep, there's time. And we'll stick with the third round just for, frankly, giggles.